You hear junkyard weapon and you think failure, scrap metal, desperate improvisation. But June 6th, 1944, Normandy beaches. American infantrymen carried a 54-inch steel tube that looked like plumbing and fired a rocket that could punch through 4 inches of armor. The M1 Bazooka. Germans called their tanks invincible. Panzers ruled Europe for 5 years. Then the shoulder-fired pipe showed up and Panzer crews started dying in their steel coffins. How did a weapon cobbled together in a Maryland workshop in 6 months become the thing German tankers feared most? What made it work when it looked like it shouldn't? And why did the enemy copy it the moment they captured one? American rocket scientist Robert Goddard builds a prototype tube launcher that fires a rocket-propelled explosive. He demonstrates it to Army brass on November 1st, 1918. 5 days before the armistice, war ends. Nobody cares. The idea dies in a filing cabinet for 23 years. Fast forward. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor burns. America enters the war. Suddenly, the Army has a problem. German tanks, Panzer IIIs, Panzer IVs, thick frontal armor. American infantry has nothing that can stop them. Rifle grenades bounce off. Anti-tank rifles might as well be pea shooters. The 37mm gun is too heavy to move quickly, and German armor keeps getting thicker. The Army hands him the M10-shaped charge grenade. It can penetrate armor, but it's too heavy to throw and too bulky for rifle launch. Skinner assigns the problem to Lieutenant Edward Uhl, fresh out of Lehigh University. Engineering physics degree, 20-something years old. Uhl needs a delivery system. He's walking past a scrap pile at the Army workshop in Indian Head, Maryland, sees a metal tube, 5 feet long, about 60 millimeters wide. Perfect diameter for the grenade he's trying to launch. He grabs it. That's the answer. Put the tube on a soldier's shoulder with the rocket inside and away it goes. They bent the coat hanger that morning to make sights. Broken nail, improvised aim points, the trial starts. Target is a moving tank, the mortars fire. All 5 miss, every single shot. Uhl steps up with his tube, fires 3 times. 3 hits on a moving target with sights made from garbage that morning. General Gladian Barnes watches, Chief of Research and Engineering for the Ordnance Department. He fires it himself, loves it. Then he laughs. It sure looks like Bob Burns' bazooka. 54.5 inches long, 13.1 pounds empty, wooden furniture, battery-actuated firing system. 2-man crew, loader and shooter, M6 rocket, 60mm diameter, 3.5 pounds, shaped charge warhead. Could penetrate 3 inches of armor. Effective range, 250 yards. Rate of fire, 4 to 5 rounds per minute. Simple, portable, deadly. Unreliable ignition, temperature sensitive. Burn too fast in heat and burst the tube. Burn too slow in cold and still burning when it exits. Scorches the gunner's face. Production quality is terrible. No bore gauge. Rockets get stuck in the tube. Explode. Kill the crew. The Army uses substandard steel. Tube split. Soldiers die. Despite this, General George Marshall orders 5,000 units on the spot after seeing the Aberdeen test. America needs tank killers now. Americans land with M1 launchers anyway. Night before the landings, General Dwight Eisenhower learned something shocking. None of his troops received training on the weapon. 0 instruction. They're carrying a rocket launcher nobody knows how to use into combat. Asks around. Can't find a single soldier who reports the bazooka actually stopped an enemy tank. But something else happens. Germans capture bazookas from Soviet forces under Lend-Lease in late 1942, from American units in Tunisia in February 1943. German intelligence officers examine them. This changes everything. Man-portable. No recoil. Any infantryman can carry it. Germans have the Panzerfaust in development. Disposable. Single shot. But they see the bazooka and want a reusable version. They already have the Raketenwerfer 43 called Pupchen. Little doll, 88mm rockets, mounted on a wheeled carriage like an artillery piece. Good range, powerful warhead, but heavy. Needs a crew, not portable. The bazooka shows them the solution. Take the 88mm rocket, put it in an open tube. Shoulder fired, man portable. September 1943. Production begins, Raketenpanzerbuchs 43, shortened to RPSDB 43. Soldiers call it something else, Panzerschreck. Tank terror. Penetrates 160mm of armor at 100 meters. The Pupchen only managed 64mm. There's a problem though. The rocket keeps burning after it leaves the tube. Burns for 2 meters past the muzzle. Hot gases blast back. Operators wear protective ponchos. Gas masks without filters. Gloves still get burned. Smoke gives away positions. Germans call it Ofenrohr. Stovepipe. October 1943. RPZB-54. Same weapon, but now with a blast shield. Protects the operator. Weight goes up to 24 pounds. Later, the RPZB-54/1. Shorter barrel, improved rocket. Range increases to 180 meters. The Germans ship them everywhere. Eastern Front, Italy, France. Finland gets them in 1944, uses them to devastating effect against Soviet armor, Hungarian forces, Italian Social Republic. The weapon spreads. More importantly, the ammunition improves. M6A1 rocket, better ignition, more reliable. Still temperature sensitive, but less likely to kill the crew. But American paratroopers hate it. 54 inches is too long. Impossible to carry in a cramped C-47 transport. Difficult to land with. Awkward in the tight hedgerows of Normandy. October 1943, M1 Bazooka breaks down into two pieces. 31.5 inches when disassembled. Barrel is longer though, 61 inches assembled. Range increases to 300 yards. Uses magneto-firing system instead of batteries. More reliable. No more battery contact issues. Rate of fire jumps to 10 rounds per minute. Weight increases to 15.87 pounds. June 1944. M9A1. Improved barrel coupling. Stronger connection between sections. T90 optical sight added in September 1944. Much better accuracy. Many carry the awkward long tubes anyway. Some have the new M9. They scatter across the Cotentin Peninsula, land in flooded fields, hedgerows, small villages. Their mission is to secure causeways behind Utah Beach, capture Sainte-Mère-Église, destroy bridges over the Douve River, protect the beach exits. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from the Tank Archives website covering detailed Wehrmacht encounter reports from Normandy, published in 2017. Steven Zaloga's Osprey Publishing Military History Series, German Tanks in Normandy, 1944, released in 2022, analyzing actual German unit strength reports and loss data, the Normandy Beach Tour. Historical weapons documentation from August 2025, examining preserved battlefield artifacts and impact analysis studies, and declassified U.S. Army Ordnance Department development records and combat reports from the National Archives, detailing the M1 and M9 deployment numbers and battlefield effectiveness assessments. Now back to the information. Lieutenant Colonel James Rudder commands. Mission is to scale 98-foot cliffs, destroy coastal guns, 155mm artillery pieces that can hit both Utah and Omaha beaches. Rangers carry grappling hooks, ropes, ladders, M1A1 bazookas. German 352nd Infantry Division defends from above. French collaborators firing down. USS Satterley and HMS Taliban provide fire support. Rangers reach the top. The guns are gone. Moved. They search. Find the guns 550 meters south in an orchard. Unguarded. Ready to fire. Loaded with ammunition. Pointed at Utah Beach. Rangers use explosives. Destroy all 6 guns. Then German counterattacks begin. 914th Grenadier Regiment. Wave after wave. Rangers use captured German weapons. This causes friendly fire. German weapons make different sounds. Some Rangers get shot by mistake. Ammunition runs out. Rangers use bazookas against German strongpoints, bunkers, infantry positions. Not tanks. There are no German tanks at Pointe du Hoc on D-Day. German 352nd Infantry Division waiting. Full strength. 12,000 men. Not the single regiment intelligence predicted. Panzers, stay back. No large armor at Omaha on D-Day itself. 5th Ranger Battalion lands on the right flank, provides leadership. Brigadier General Norman Cota shouts to them. Rangers lead the way. They push forward. Bazookas target German positions, bunkers, pillboxes, machine gun nests. Lieutenant John Spaulding's team uses a bazooka to destroy a 50mm gun position. Not effective against every pillbox, but forces German crews to stay buttoned up, buys time, slows their response. Infantry advances under this covering fire. Strong currents push the landing 1,800 meters south of the intended beach. Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr. realizes the error immediately. We'll start the war from here. Turns out they landed at a less defended section. Luck saves lives. By noon, beach forces link up with 101st Airborne paratroopers around Poopville. By day's end, 4th Division pushes 6 kilometers inland. Western units within a mile of 82nd Airborne perimeter near Sainte-Mère-Église. Total casualties at Utah, 197, remarkably low. 21,000 troops landed. Bazookas used primarily against fortified positions, German strongpoints, not tanks. Because there aren't many German tanks near Utah on D-Day. Eastern Front, southern France, defense in depth. The 21st Panzer Division near Caen, but they don't reach the beaches on D-Day. Arrive late afternoon, launch a counterattack near Sword Beach, get stopped. The big German tank battles come later. July 11th, 1944, River Vire. Panzer Lehr Division attacks, 120 tanks and 32 self-propelled guns. This is where bazookas meet serious armor. M10 tank destroyers do most of the killing. Bazooka crews learn a hard truth. The M6A3 rocket with its blunt nose can penetrate 3.5 to 4 inches of armor, but only from the sides or rear. Frontal armor on a Panther, forget it. Panzer IV, OSFH and J, too thick, 100 millimeters. The bazooka can't touch it head on. 120 tanks, 32 self-propelled guns. Night assault, American defenses hold. 76mm guns do heavy damage. Field artillery decimates German formations. 30th Infantry Division reports 69 German tanks destroyed. Bazookas get credit for 10, just 10, less than 15%. But those 10 matter. Side shots, rear shots, Normandy's bocage helps, hedgerows, stone walls, sunken roads. Tank crews have to slow down, navigate carefully. Bazooka teams hide, wait, ambush, one shot to the side, one shot to the rear, track damage, engine fire, mobility kill, then infantry swarms. By the second half of 1944, commanders keep their old M1A1s, even after receiving M9A1s. Result: more launchers than authorized. Some battalions have 40 or more. Paratroop companies get 4 M9s, one in headquarters, one per platoon, flexibility over doctrine. Sloped armor deflects the warhead. Early M6 rockets with pointed noses bounce off at low angles. M6 A3 with blunt nose helps, but angle still matters. Range is short. Effective engagement under 150 meters for reliable penetration. Gunner exposed during shot. No protection. Backblast signature reveals position. Reload time leaves crew vulnerable. Moisture affects electrical firing system. Sand gets in the mechanism. Salt air corrodes contacts. Pacific theater troops report constant reliability issues. 50 to 150 meters. Still close, still dangerous, but survivable. Shoot from cover, reload behind a wall, move to new position, shoot again. Allied armor commanders respond. Sandbags on hulls, extra track links welded on, logs strapped to sides, trying to create standoff distance. Reduce penetration, doesn't work well. Shape charges still get through, but it's something. Desperation engineering? Because infantry needs something. Anything. Tank armor keeps getting thicker. 88mm guns on German tanks outrange everything Americans have. But infantry still needs to kill tanks, or at least damage them, slow them down, create mobility kills. The bazooka does that, not reliably, not consistently, but often enough. Tests captured units, realizes the 60mm rocket is inadequate, starts work on a bigger version. 89mm, 3.5 inches, eventually becomes the M20 Super Bazooka. Doesn't deploy in World War II, appears in Korea. But the concept is proven. Shoulder-fired anti-tank rocket, man-portable. Infantry weapon, game changer. Develops their own versions. Post-war, the RPG family traces lineage back. Britain develops the Piat. Different mechanism, spring-loaded spigot, but same concept, portable anti-tank. Canada uses bazookas and Piats, Free French forces, Brazilian troops, Chinese forces. Both nationalist and communist, the design spreads globally. Everyone needs infantry anti-tank capability. Bazookas and copies fill that role. Japanese developed the Type 470mm launcher. Late war, too late to matter much. But they see the need. Pacific theater mostly light Japanese tanks. Bazookas work fine, penetrate thin armor easily, but bunkers and caves are the real targets, reinforced positions, coral rock fortifications. Bazookas used against these more than tanks, white phosphorus rockets, M10 bursting smoke rounds, force defenders out, create panic. Different mission from European theater, but equally important. Multiple hits will, doctrine evolves from battlefield experience, manuals get rewritten based on what works. This gives American forces time to position, time to reinforce, time to prepare, time to bring up heavier weapons, tank destroyers, artillery, air support. The bazooka buys time with threat more than execution. One shot from above can brew up a tank. Escape routes everywhere. Fire and relocate. Germans learned this the hard way. Fighting through Normandy villages, later Aachen, Hürtgen Forest. Every building a potential firing position, every window a threat. Tank advance grinds to a crawl. Infantry casualties mount clearing buildings. But bazooka teams keep killing tanks. Not many. Enough. Enough to make German armor hesitant. Enough to force them back. The production numbers tell the story. M1 Bazooka, 12,790 produced. M1A1, 59,932. Many M1s upgraded to A1 standard. M9, 26,087. M9A1 production continues into 1945. Total production exceeds 400,000 launchers across all variants by war's end. Millions of rockets. M6, M6A1, M6A3, M7 practice, M7A1 practice, M10 smoke. Mass production. Industrial scale. Every infantry company equipped. Replacement launchers stockpiled. Rockets shipped by the crate. Americans shipping across the Atlantic, through England, across the Channel. Longer logistics chain, more launchers lost in transit, more scattered across the Pacific theater. The production achievement is remarkable. Researchers can identify bazooka hits versus Panzerfaust versus tank gun penetrations, crater analysis, armor deformation patterns, spalling characteristics, scientific examination of kills, data surprises historians, more mobility kills than previously thought, track damage, suspension hits, steering mechanisms destroyed, tanks disabled but not destroyed, crews abandon them, Germans recover some, repair them, back in service. But the temporary removal from battle matters, hours count in combat. Battle of Tali y Hantala. Confirms the weapon's effectiveness in trained hands, proper tactics, good positions, patient crews, lethal results. Ammunition management, which rocket for which target, heat for armor, smoke for suppression, practice rounds for training, white phosphorus for bunkers, doctrine becomes sophisticated. Knowledge spreads through veteran instruction. Survivors teach new replacements, unit knowledge preserves lives. The 60mm warhead can't penetrate frontally. Side shots maybe, rear shots probably, but frontal, no chance. Tank destroyers handle that mission. M10, M18, Hellcat, M36 Jackson. Bazooka crews focus on lighter targets, Panzer Force. Sturmgeschütz 3s, half-tracks, scout vehicles, trucks, bunkers, buildings. Missions within capability. They feared bazookas in close terrain, hedgerows, villages, forests. Open terrain less so, could spot the backblast, return fire with coaxial machine guns, high explosive rounds, suppress the position. But close terrain, no visibility, no maneuver room. Every corner a potential ambush. Veteran crews talked about stress, constant vigilance, sweating inside buttoned-up tanks, cannot see infantry, cannot engage without exposing themselves. Psychological impact significant. Fear affects decisions, slows tempo, degrades combat effectiveness. One shot to front, stops the tank, blocks the lane, can't reverse, can't see around. Second shot to side, third shot to rear. Tank burns, crew bails, infantry moves up, capture or kill survivors. Next tank can't advance. Lane blocked by burning wreck. German armor piles up, casualty list grows. Packs the wallop of a 155mm cannon. Army press releases say this: complete exaggeration, marketing, propaganda. Reality is much more modest, but soldiers discover the truth fast. Battlefield teaches lessons. German armor teaches painful lessons. Crews learn or die. Veterans emerge, share knowledge, adjust tactics, make the weapon work within its limitations. M20, Super Bazooka, 89mm warhead, 11 inches of armor penetration, better range, better accuracy. Heavier though, 14.3 pounds empty, fires 9-pound M28, A2 heat rocket. Still two-man crew, still shoulder-fired. Vietnam War sees continued use, gradually replaced by M72 Law, light anti-tank weapon, disposable, single shot, simpler, cheaper, but the concept remains. Shoulder-fired anti-tank, direct lineage to the M1 Bazooka. Give infantry portable anti-armor capability. Technology improves, guidance systems added, range extends, penetration increases, but fundamental concept unchanged. One soldier, one launcher, kill enemy armor. Marketing campaigns use the name, bubblegum, Bazooka Joe, comic strips. The weapon's cultural impact exceeds its battlefield effectiveness. Symbol of American ingenuity, quick development, practical design, mass production, doing more with less. Depression-era resourcefulness applied to warfare. Junkyard engineering that works. But battlefield effectiveness is messy. Terrain matters, weather matters, crew training matters, maintenance matters, ammunition quality matters, enemy tactics matter, combined arms, coordination matters. Numbers alone don't capture reality. A weapon that penetrates 4 inches of armor sounds inadequate against German Panther frontal armor of 100mm, but side armor on a Panther, 40mm, well within bazooka capability. Everything depends on context, position, angle, situation. Emergency wartime development compresses timelines. Necessity drives innovation. Bureaucracy gets bypassed. Decisions made fast. Production scaled immediately. Problems fixed in the field. Next version incorporates lessons. Iterative improvement at speed. Fusing mechanisms. Everything interconnected. Early problems stem from mismatched components. M6 rocket with pointed nose on M1 launcher. Rockets stick in tube. Contact issues cause misfires. Temperature sensitivity creates safety hazards. Each problem gets addressed. M6 A1 rocket with improved contact. M6 A3 with blunt nose. Better fusing. More stable propellant. Wire wrap tubes prevent splitting. Magneto-firing system replaces batteries. Evolution through combat experience. Field testing. Constant refinement. The weapon gets better throughout the war. Final 1945 versions bear little resemblance to early 1942 prototypes beyond basic concept. Panzer Schreck costs 0.068% of the tank it kills. Cost-benefit ratio favors anti-tank weapons heavily. American M1A1 production cost roughly $150. Sherman tank cost approximately $50,000. Similar ratio. 333 bazookas per tank cost. Mass production of cheap infantry weapons makes economic sense. Lose 10 bazookas killing one tank. Still profitable trade. Training time comparison matters too. Tank crew training, months. Tank commander qualification, 6 months minimum. Tank production time, 8 to 12 months depending on model and factory. Bazooka crew training, 2 weeks, maybe 4 for proficiency. Bazooka production time, hours per unit. Assembly line manufacturing. Any metalworking shop can produce them. Decentralized production, multiple factories, easier to scale. Harder for enemy bombing to disrupt. Distributed manufacturing base protects production capacity. Better penetration than German version. Lighter than Panzers despite larger warhead. No external blast shield needed. Cleaner burning propellant. Learning from both ally and enemy examples. Best ideas win regardless of origin. Notes shape charge advantage. No fall off over distance. If it hits, it penetrates. Unlike kinetic penetrators that lose energy with range. Technical manuals. TM 9-294. Maintenance procedures. Parts lists. Troubleshooting guides. After action reports. Battalion and regimental combat assessments. Tank kill confirmations. Ammunition expenditure data. Casualty reports. Official histories. Unit records. All preserved. All available. Researchers cross-reference multiple sources. Build complete picture. Separate combat claims from confirmed kills. Establish actual effectiveness. Engineers can verify original claims. Confirm or refute period assertions. Historical accuracy improves with archival access. What soldiers believed versus what testing proved, sometimes matched, often didn't. Truth emerges from documents. Identify factory variations. Some General Electric production. Some other contractors. Minor differences. Quality variations. Early war versus late war construction. Material substitutions as shortages developed. Steel alloys changed. Wooden furniture replaced with different species. Plastic components introduced. Manufacturing history visible in artifacts. Impact sites on destroyed vehicles. Soil analysis. Layer dating. Associate artifacts with known actions. Cross-reference with unit records. Confirm engagements. Verify claims. Distinguish myth from reality. Tourism sites in Normandy maintain preserved equipment. Utah Beach Museum displays M1 Bazooka, original. World War II vintage. Visitors see the actual weapon. Handle reproduction versions. Feel the weight. Understand the size. Appreciate the engineering. Historical education through physical objects. Lessons learned. Passed down through veteran organizations. Military history societies. Preserve institutional knowledge. First-hand accounts fade as veterans age. Recording becomes urgent, capturing memories before they're lost. Gave infantry anti-tank capability where none existed. Changed tactical calculations. Forced enemy adaptations. Spawned imitators worldwide. Evolution continued through multiple conflicts. Design lives on in modern successors. From scrap pile observation to global weapon system. 6 months development time. Mass production, industrial scale deployment, American manufacturing at war, practical engineering under pressure. June 6, 1944, D-Day. American soldiers hit the beaches, Normandy, France, Nazi-occupied Europe. Some carry M1 bazookas, some carry M1A1s. Paratroopers dropping inland have M9s. They don't know exactly what they'll face. Training said one thing. Reality will say another. But they have the weapon. They have the ammunition. They have basic knowledge. The bazooka won't win the war alone. No single weapon does. But it gives them a chance. One soldier, one rocket, one shot at killing a tank or destroying a bunker or taking out a position. Better than nothing. Better than grenades and rifles against armor. Good enough. Sometimes that's what matters. Good enough. American tank destroyers had better accuracy. But none of those were man-portable. None could go everywhere infantry went. None were as easy to produce. None were as simple to learn. The M1 Bazooka filled a specific role. Portable anti-armor for infantry squads. Filled it adequately. Not perfectly. Adequately. Warfare isn't about perfection. It's about having the right capability at the right place at the right time. Good enough on a beach in Normandy beats perfect, sitting in a warehouse stateside. Not perfect penetration numbers, not ideal engagement ranges, but adoption, distribution, use, impact on tactics, change in battlefield behavior, force multiplication through threat presence. The weapon that looked like junkyard scrap became the thing German Panzer crews checked for before advancing. That's success. Not because the weapon was revolutionary technology. Shaped charges existed, rockets existed, launching tubes existed, but combining them into a soldier portable system, making it simple enough for mass production, cheap enough for mass issue, reliable enough for combat use. That combination was new. That combination worked. That combination spread globally and influenced weapons development for the next 80 years. German tank commanders in Normandy summer 1944 faced a calculation. Advance through bocage country, risk bazooka ambush in every hedgerow, or stay defensive, hold ground, let Americans come to them, Face bazooka teams in prepared positions. No good choices. Either way, the threat shaped decisions. Slowed advances, created hesitation, psychological impact. Fear is force multiplier. American infantry, knowing they have bazookas, fight differently. More aggressive, more willing to engage armor, more confident. German armor, knowing Americans have bazookas, fight differently. More cautious, more defensive, more vulnerable to combined arms attacks. Morale and tactics shift. The weapon's presence matters more than actual use statistics suggest. American unit engaged German armor column. 3 Panzer IVs, supporting infantry, narrow road between hedgerows, first tank rounds corner, bazooka team fires, hits front drive sprocket, track thrown, tank immobilized, blocks road, second tank can't pass, reverses, bazooka team repositions, second shot hits turret side, penetrates. Tank brews up, third tank already reversing when first shot's fired. Escapes, infantry trapped, surrenders. Small action, local success, repeated thousands of times across Normandy, aggregate impact massive. German advance rates slow, American defense effective. Battles of attrition favor side with better logistics. America has better logistics. America wins attrition, bazooka contributes to that equation. But enough shots hit, enough armor was penetrated, enough tanks were stopped, enough to matter, enough to change outcomes. War is probability, increase survival odds, increase kill probability, aggregate small advantages, win through accumulated marginal gains. Bazooka provided one more marginal gain, combined with others. Infantry with bazookas, plus tank destroyers, plus artillery, plus air support, plus numerical superiority, plus industrial. Capacity equals victory. No single factor decisive. All factors necessary. Pragmatism, not revolutionary. Evolutionary, not decisive alone, effective combined. American engineering at its core. Identify problem, find simple solution, mass produce, distribute widely, iterate improvements, win through scale and adaptation. The M1 Bazooka, junkyard weapon, tank killer, game changer. Legacy lives in every shoulder-fired anti-armor weapon carried today, from scrap pile to Normandy beaches to military arsenals worldwide. That's history.